So, hashtag Dan's bed, everybody. This is my brother-in-law from a previous marriage. We are still very much homies. However, our Dan here needed to give his head a little bit of a wobble last year, and he's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Well, you ask away and I'll tell.
I have not prepared interview thoughts. Okay.
Can I have a beer if we're going deep?
Yeah, we are going deep. Deep in the Dickens. I was wondering why that was so fucking wobbles. That's just a prick. Okay, so take me back. Where were you in your life?
So, this time last year, I was in a very dark place. I was living alone in a flat. Very much work, see sun, go to flat, overthink. Got to a point in my life where I knew I was giving up. I'd planned my suicide for about 6 months prior to when I actually done it.
So, 6 months of planning. Where do you even begin with that? So, at the start of this 6 months.
So it's called stockpiling. So I was on numerous different medications for depression, for anxiety, for not being able to sleep, for dark thoughts, intrusive thoughts. And what I done was I stopped taking that medication. So I stockpiled it. So I had months and months and months worth of medication that I hadn't taken. And I put it all into one pot, labelled the pot The End.
Fucking hell.
Because I knew that was it for me. I hadn't told anyone. I hadn't spoke out. I didn't. As far as everyone knew, I was fine. I was happy. I was going to work and singing along to the music and having a laugh with mates and getting the job done.
Getting on with it.
Yeah. I got promoted. I was a manager. I got to a peak point in work. Everything seemed to be going well.
I think I'll get involved here.
Because I very much hid behind being the Dan that everyone wanted to see rather than what was actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was easy for me to do that because I'd spent so many years masking how I was actually feeling or what was actually going on in my head. My marriage broke down through no fault of my own. I stopped being a husband and was just a mess, basically. I wasn't helping out around the house. I wasn't doing anything. I'd treat her like shit. I was crap with money. I was gambling. I was doing all kinds of stuff just to try and get some kind of dopamine hit. And I got to a point where I realised that, or in my head, I thought that I was never going to be enough for anyone. So in my head, my son was better off without me. Family were better off without me. It was just a case of, this is the only way out. So rather than speaking out and asking for help or seeking help from anyone, I decided to just deal with it on my own. So when you're on your own, you're in a flat, there's no one to convince you otherwise. Because in your own head, you're just going, well, you must be right because this is what you're thinking.
And presumably this is the spot that I would fucking help lift some shit into, yeah?
Yeah. So, obviously, I had a lot of people around me that were willing to help me out, that were willing to speak to me, where, I could have asked for help if needs be. I've got a good family network, I've got great friends, and I just felt ashamed more than anything to speak out. It's it's not something that men do. It's that age-old saying, men don't cry and all that. I would cry most nights. Because I would just knew the end was coming.
Now, just to interrupt you there.
Go on.
You're crying like you know the end's coming. Like, is that by that? Do you mean like you know that you're gonna do the thing, or like in a sense this could be preventable?
No, my mind was made up. So 6 months prior, I knew I was going to do it. I just didn't know when. So when I say I'm sitting there crying, it was more like a relief because it
Right.
was. I knew that the pain was going to be over, so I, like I say, got into a position where I went on holiday with the wife and my son, and we had a great week. I literally spent every last penny there because I knew I didn't need it because I knew what I was going to do.
Right.
I tried to give him the best week that he could, so he had a great week with me.
Good memory.
Yeah. On the day of, I went round to my dad's, done a tip run for him. He knew something was wrong, but I just bashed it off and said, no, I'm fine. You know, there's nothing wrong. I went to see my son, played with him for a few hours. Went home to the flat, made some chicken. Ate the chicken, sat down, and
It's hardly the death row meal. I'd be fucking
It wasn't the last meal that I'd hoped for. But,
I mean, you spent all your money on
yeah,
holiday.
exactly. So I sat down, got a bottle of I think it was Bailey's, and just took the tablets in tens until
Fucking
I
hell.
got to about 95 tablets that I'd taken, and then I sent a goodbye message. So I just said, look after Lorenzo, and you know, let him know I love him and all that kind of stuff, and then took the rest of them. So I took another 40 pills after that.
Jesus, what?
And then the next thing I remembered is waking up in the hospital with everyone around me, and I'm thinking, well, this isn't heaven.
Now,
So it balls that up.
I can't remember who fucking told me that this was a thing. Probably Nat, I'd have thought. But that set off a chain of events. Now, I can't remember if it was Laura or Luca that started the motion of something's very, very wrong here. We need to go and fucking intervene.
Yeah, it was Luca.
Right.
So I was in Arrow Park for 4 days, and in them 4 days, nothing was getting better. I was still in a very dark place. I'd woke up and I'd decided that from that point on I wasn't going to lie anymore. Because I was doing a lot of that prior. I was lying to people. I was lying to myself. You know, I was lying to everyone. And I said when I woke up that I wasn't going to lie anymore, and I've stuck to that since. And some people like it, some people don't, and that's just a fact of life. You know, it's just I've been a people pleaser for so long that it's trying to not revert back to type, and making sure that I'm doing what's best for my mental health. And some people aren't going to like it, some people are going to be upset by it, but I've just got to look after number one at the minute, because I'm still recovering. I'm not healed by any sense of the imagination. And I think when I was in Arrow Park, people realised that I wasn't getting the help that I needed. When I say people, I mean Laura and Luca, and Laura being the wife, and Luca my brother.
Sorry, yeah, should have probably fucking given that clue.
And I think between the two of them, they spoke up and they asked for help. And I was sitting on a bed with my Auntie Izzy. She came in and she just asked me 4 very direct questions about, are you going to harm yourself? You know, where's your head at? And I was honest with her, and then she went and spoke to one of the mental health nurses there, and they decided that the best treatment for me would be to go to I don't want to call it a mental hospital, but it was a secure unit on a mental health ward.
Yeah,
should we say.
I'm familiar. Not quite through personal experience,
Yeah.
but
I was on there with some characters,
family.
I tell you, Jesus.
yeah, I've heard of the
there's-
sorts.
There was some nutters in there, like, but I was one of them. So you know, I had to embrace it, and it was through there that I started therapy. I had the medication review, which was a load of crap because they took me off something they shouldn't have took me off, and swiftly got put back on it when I got out. But it was an eye-opening. I think I was in there 5 weeks. It was eye-opening. I got time to reflect. I didn't have any pressure, so you know the stress was off, and It was just a case of wake up, eat, sleep, do what you can in the day to keep yourself occupied, and you know there was loads of stuff there. There was people to speak to, and that's one thing that we've got to emphasise there is there's people to speak to. You know, it's too easy to not speak.
No, yeah, like as it says just down there below the bar, it's okay to talk.
Yeah,
that's what we need to remember. Now, before we go any further, like take me back again. So like we're at the point where you sent the final goodbyes, as it were. So Luke has picked this up and gone right.
I think he came to the flat.
Done something.
Yeah, I think Laura, because Laura rang me, because Laura rang an ambulance and then rang me and told me she'd rang an ambulance, but I was off my tits, so I couldn't. She wasn't really getting any sense out of me, and then the ambulance rang me, and I was off my tits, so they couldn't get any sense out of me either. But I just remember someone saying unlock the door, so I went to the door and unlocked it, and I think people, again, I'm only going now off what people have told me since, because I was out of it. But my brother was there. I think a friend turned up as well. You know, my mate Tom turned up. I think Laura's little sister turned up. Mum turned up. And yeah, I just got carted off into an ambulance and sped away like. But
one significant stomach pump later, no doubt.
I've got no idea what they done. I was on a drip and I was pissing like a racehorse, so yeah, that's all I knew. I didn't really, you know, see what they done or what the effects were. I was lucky in the sense that there was no lasting damage to me liver or kidneys, which is God knows how. I think the doctor said to me if people hadn't have turned up when they did, then I wouldn't be here now. So, you know, people will say you're lucky. You know, at that time I wouldn't have said I was lucky because what I wanted to do didn't happen. But looking back on it now, obviously you can see that it's a miracle, and you've got to embrace it, and you've got to try and speak out and raise awareness, and that's what I've been trying to do ever since. You know, I had a therapist that I was seeing weekly. That's due to start again in April. I'm not quite back at work yet, but I'm on the road to get back to work. You know, there's a lot of people now that I know I can go to and speak to. You know, we have a family walking club on a Thursday now where...
the boy mentioned that before.
Yeah, so every Thursday we all the family gets together and we go for a walk down the prom. And it's just nice to get together and be with your loved ones and just talk. You know, we can talk about anything. We can talk, you know, if I'm having a down day, talk about that. Last week I bored my nephew's head off all the way there, all the way back, and you know, it's just you pick who you want to speak to, and you'll walk with them, and you'll talk with them.
That's a really interesting concept.
It's something that I've seen a few mental health groups do.
I've never heard of it.
And it's just nice to get out of the house. I mean, because of my medication, I've piled the weight on, so I need to get out of the house and go for a walk. But it is just nice to get out and speak and talk to people, and just the fresh air more than anything. You know, it clears your mind. Does what, you know, gets you out of the house, and more people should do it. More people should get out and be with people that they care about, and you know, drop in on that friend or drop in on that relative that you haven't spoke to for a while, and just check everything's okay. You know, I think that's what was hard for me, was that because I put on an act that everything was okay, no one saw it coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know about that, don't we?
Yeah.
And see, we're quite lucky, really. Our Kev fucking every now and then will just give like any one of us a bell just to check in, just make sure that everything's as good as it can be.
That's it, and that's all it needs to be. It just needs to be a little check-in. how's things going? How you feeling? Are you okay? Do you want to talk about anything? You know, they might not talk. They might just say, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But at least you've tried. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's all you can say, because you don't want to be that mate who is standing over the grave and going, I wish I'd have got in touch. I wish I'd have spoke to him. You know, no one wants that. And that's what I'm trying to prevent now. So that's what I'm trying to raise awareness for now. And I'm on a one-man mission to build as much awareness about men's suicide, not just men's, but suicide in general. I mentioned to you last night about a clothing brand I'm starting.
Told you to tell you more about it.
Yeah, so it's something I've been thinking about with a friend for a while. We've been trying to come up with different business ideas, and on Friday night, finally working with me dad, came up with a design, and it's to help each other drive awareness naturally, and it's THEO, which is Theo, which is a friend of me dad's, who took his own life, and then DAN, which is obviously Dan, #Dan's bed. So we've got a design printed. We've got the first orders going off tomorrow. We've sold 2 so far, and then there's going to be...
It's a start.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's going to be... The proceeds are going to be going to Andy's Man Club. So...
See, it all loops around.
Yeah, I think it's a charity that needs more awareness. It's a fantastic charity. They do so much for men's mental health, and it's something that it isn't one of these massive charities that you hear of. You know, you've got your big cancer ones that everyone sings at Macmillan and all that. Everyone knows about them.
That's where we started the 24-hour streams with Macmillan.
You've got obviously Age UK, which is another massive charity, and there's nothing there for men's mental health. And Andy's Man Club is one of the ones that sticks out for me. Is I want to get behind it. I fully believe in it, and that's why I'm trying to do my bit and raise as much money as possible. So the hoodies are going to be on sale for £20.
That's very fucking reasonable.
Exactly. I'll share a picture with Jay, and Jay will share it with you lot.
Yeah, I'll get it on for you.
And yeah, there'll be a link. There'll be a link to
Where's
all
my
of them.
phone? There. I don't need my chat open anymore. Just rinsing battery.
So yeah, I'll get a link to order them, and as I say, the proceeds are going to go obviously back into making the hoodies, and 50% of the profit's going to be going to Andy's Man Club. And yeah, hopefully we can get it. Every man on the wheel, or every woman. In fact, the 2 that I've sold are for 2 women, so we need more men to be walking around wearing these hoodies.
It will focus at some point, I promise.
And raise awareness. And as I say, the proceeds will be going to Andy's Man Club. So
there we go.
There we go. To help each other drive awareness naturally.
Perfect, just in time for that to fade. And there's a hat!
There is a hat. So the hat doesn't come with any writing. The hat is just the symbol. But there will be numerous hats, not just that one. These are just the first 2 designs that we've got so far. But yeah, if anyone is interested in purchasing, then I'll get Jay to link us up, and we'll...
He'll chuck me a link and I'll chuck it in the chat.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted.
Well, thanks for sharing.
You're more than welcome.
I was going to say it was a lovely story, but I mean, it wasn't, was it?
Not at all, no.
But it certainly was something that we've discussed now. So, yeah.
Cheers.
To your fucking
Cheers.
continuing health, mate.